Hey everybody, welcome to the Herd Fit Podcast with Dr. Sam Rhee and myself, Coach David Syvertsen. This podcast is aimed at helping anyone and everyone looking to enhance their healthy lifestyle through fitness, nutrition, and most importantly, mindset.
All right, welcome back to the Herd Fit Podcast. I am Coach David Syvertsen. I'm here with my co-host, Dr. and Coach Sam Rhee. Sam, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's been a few weeks since we put out a new episode, and we kind of just made that decision that just with all the back and forth that we all have with the holidays, we just wanted to take a little 2-week break before we dove headfirst. We have, I think, 7 or 8 episodes already lined up. Really excited to share those with you guys one by one. Some exciting guests coming up as well, including next week. But we are going to start off the 2024 version of the Herd Fit Podcast talking about the Bison Reset Challenge, but also for those that don't come to Bison or don't know what the Bison Reset Challenge is, we're going to talk about your New Year's resolutions, your goals for the upcoming year, whatever trendy word description you want to put under, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is the most common time of year for people to make goals, come up with something new they want to pursue, really buckle down and pursue something that's hard for them, that they failed in the past, or something new. To me, it's a very exciting time of year. I like being around the energy of people that are going after something. It inspires me, it motivates me, and I also know that the position I'm in as a CrossFit coach and a gym owner, this is a very important time for a lot of people. I literally got an email last night from a new person at 11:45. I was watching a football game, and I was 10:45, and he says, "I'm looking to get in shape. I need help. I'm desperate." And that, as I was making the outline for today, it made me think how many of us, both in and out of Bison, both in and out of our personal lives, our peers, feel that way. We're desperate to make a change. And it's really hard to make a change when you're by yourself. It's really hard to make a change when you don't tell anyone else about it. And because at some point, the motivation wears off for everybody. And then the discipline hopefully takes over. And if it's not, you're going to quit. And you have probably done that before. I've done that before. And it's a crappy feeling. But you know what? New year, new you, maybe. It's a fun time to be around. Sam, even though it's trendy, right? What are your thoughts on someone doing a challenge to start off the year? It could be fitness, health, wellness, combination of the three.
It's good. It's one of the 2 pieces of advice I give people when they ask me, especially at the office, how do I lose weight? How do I get healthier? How do I get better? And I say there are a million different things you can do or eat or methods to try, but there are 2 things that always seem to be universal. The first is make it social. So like you said, so important. Don't try to do it all by yourself. It's almost impossible. And we've always talked about that. If you need to get better at something, have coaches, have help, make it social, talk to others. That's the first. And the other piece of advice I always give is don't give up. Because you can try 15 times to try something, and then on the 16th time, it sticks or it works. So maybe this is like the 5th time you've done a challenge for the new year. And you're like, why do I keep doing this? You know why? Because it could actually happen this year. You could make some lasting changes. And every year that I've challenged myself for something, not everything stuck, but a lot of things have stuck. And little by little over the years, I've accumulated some better habits, not maybe the best habits, but better habits. And this is a great time to be social with others. That's what the Bison Reset Challenge is. That's what you're probably going to be doing for yourself if you're somewhere else, and you're going to have at it.
Yeah, and for some people, it's a frustrating time of year. If you're already a gym diehard, you hate this. You hate early January because the gym is so full. And it's almost to the point where you're kind of condescending in a way, saying, "Oh, half these people won't be here in a few weeks." You know what? It is true. A lot of the people that start off don't finish, and I want to kind of look at this from a different perspective as a gym owner, right? If I was a really savage business owner, I would come up with every promotional deal I could give anyone out there. Half month, buy 1 month, get 1 free. And to those gyms that do that, more power to you. Everyone runs their business a different way. but we're almost 10 years in now. We've never run a promotion like that ever. And my line is always, I got asked this last night from a different inquiry on my Saturday night. It's funny how a lot of people on Saturday night after 10 p.m. are reaching out to gyms. And they ask, like, do you have any promos to start off the year? And I say, very respectfully, I say the same thing every year. I feel like I would be disrespecting my current membership by letting people come in and crowd this place that are paying half as much as them. And I just don't feel right about that. And I want you to put some skin in the game. I think that if you're always looking for a deal to get you going, that's not a bad thing. But I think when you put yourself out there, whether it be financial, buying a full-blown membership, putting yourself in a challenge where other people see your scores, we're going to get into what we do here at Bison. It adds a little bit of fire. It adds a little bit of, I would say, healthy stress to the situation that can really kind of push you over the edge. Because I really think this, I believe this down to my core. So many of you that are looking to make a change are so close to getting to that point. You're so much closer to getting to that point than you think. You know, you might look at your end result, your desired end result, a weight, a body type, a body fat percentage in body, a certain look, a level of performance, and you might be like, man, that is so far away. It's not as far as you think. The process is what I think you need to fall in love with, and that is, and for you to fall in love with the process and to intensify it a little bit, I think you need to have some skin in the game. And I think it just makes you a little bit more inclined to go that extra inch, not the extra foot, just the extra inch. And it's going to get you that much closer to your goal.
I'm so happy to see the new people come in. I also love the old people that I've known who maybe took a break or did something else for a while. I saw a couple OGs this past week, this weekend, that really sort of psyched me up to see them back again. And it could be just something as simple as, listen, I just want to go to the gym more regularly. I just want to be able to work out more than I have been. Whatever it is, like, this is a great time to do that.
So I want to get into what CrossFit Bison does. It's called the Reset Challenge. And I'm going to give a macro view of it first, and then we're going to go into the sections. And what I'm going to do here, because I know a lot of you are not doing Reset that are listening, whether you don't come here or you do come here, you're not doing Reset, but I can kind of just pepper some thoughts into your head about why we have these specific topics and why I think you can make a little change here and there to, you know, help you pursue whatever goal you have for 2024. Trivia. What number Bison Reset is this, Sam? Top of your head.
8?
6.
Oh, okay.
All right. I actually thought it was less. I thought it was like 4 or 5.
Oh.
We used to do something called the Lorong Challenge. I'm not sure if they're still around. We did another challenge prior to starting our own, and it was a little too complex. There was a lot of rules. There was a lot of like specific workouts you had to do every single week with different levels and a lot of questions. And it got to a point where like this is so complicated that it's turning people off. I do think you're going to have to invest more time and thought and energy into this than you probably think, but I do want to keep it simple. So we came up with our own New Year's January challenge that always leads up to the Open. So however far away the Open is from that early January period, that's how long ours is. So there's 1 year it was 9 weeks, 1 year it was 7 weeks, 1 year it was 5 or 6, right? This year it's 7 weeks because they pushed the Open back 2 weeks. And the thing that I want to read off what I just sent to our members, because this is really what I want you guys to think about prior to getting into the specifics. Welcome to the Reset 2024 challenge. I applaud you for making the decision to start your year off on the right foot. New Year's resolutions are trendy, but as we are about to wrap up year 10 at Bison, I can assure you several of our members over that span have used our challenge to reshape their outlook on their health for the long term. It freaking works. The number one concept I want Reset to get across is this. It is simpler than you think. Just like some of our workouts, simple does not mean easy. But we all know each other because we were looking for a fitness program that is not easy. You are conditioned for this more than you think. I promise. And then I get into scoring points. Reset is, just like our workouts here, performance-based. You are going to get a score every single day, 7 days a week for 7 weeks. How do I score points? We have 6 categories. One of them is new this year, and we're going to dive into them. But before we get into that, right, I'm not a fan of telling you to completely cut out things that you enjoy. We believe in balance, but we also know that balance can, over time, tend to sway in an unbalanced fashion, in an unhealthy manner, meaning you think you're being balanced, but you're kind of going away from health too far. You're no longer balanced, okay? This is the purpose of Reset. If you score 4 to 5 points per day, you are absolutely crushing it. If you are seeing a lot of 1s and 2s, then we need to make a change. Nowhere in there are we telling you to go cold turkey on anything. We want you to enjoy a beer, a glass of wine, a cocktail. We want you to enjoy ice cream or a cheat meal on occasion. We know getting the maximum sleep every night is impossible for some, and for some, getting to the gym every day is simply not an option. That is why this point system works. If you shoot for 4s and 5s as often as you can, I guarantee you're going to see some 6s pop up. So you get a point for every one of these things that you do, okay? And before I get into them, I want to get some Sam feedback on this system that we do, because I do think Reset, the first or second one, and in combination with Laurent, I really remember that really kind of helping you make your turn towards going from like a novice CrossFitter to like, wow, I'm really into this, and I'm seeing big changes that you have sustained for a long time. And so before I get into those, Sam, opening thoughts on the scoring system and believing in that, hey, 4s and 5s are great.
Absolutely. I've done this. Okay, so I'm going to put it this way. I am not a gung-ho, like, change my life to try to get, the maximum points allowed. Yeah. I have done that in the past, and it was way more complicated when we were doing Laurent.
Yeah.
We had to log onto their website and do all sorts of stuff, and they were so strict, and we were dissecting every little point about food and exercise and this and that. And it was so onerous. But every time I did do those things, I came away with something. At this point, I will tell you where I'm sitting with Reset.
Yep.
And just a shout out, I know a lot of people think my wife is like an awesome
Super
Reset
woman.
Person.
Yeah.
And she is.
She gets 5s every day.
She legit does a great job in terms of really sort of buckling down and being super strict about every aspect that we're going to be talking about. I am kind of a little more easygoing. Like, for example, we were away for this past week, and she knew she was going to have to really buckle down and sort of get super strict about a bunch of things. So she was eating the ice cream and the bread and the, virgin pina coladas. And,
how dare you, Susan?
And she's like, oh, no, I'm going to go right back into it. So she's good at that. I, at this point, have tried to find moderation in everything. I've done the really strict macros. I've done really strict paleo. I remember the first year when we did this, I didn't know. I was keeping to the definition, but I wasn't being healthy. For example, I ate boiled eggs, beef jerky, and some horrible flatbread that was made out of coconut flour every day, because that's all I had. Like, I didn't know. And I was like, this is healthy. This is paleo. And then I realized after doing this a couple times, this is not exactly what this challenge is for. This challenge is really to sort of push yourself just like you do in workouts, see where your strengths are, see where your weaknesses are, find out more about yourself. If you're chasing a number on the whiteboard like you do for workouts, great.
Yep.
This is what helps. This is a whiteboard for your life that you're trying for 6 weeks or 8 weeks. And if that's what gets you going, like, I really want that whiteboard challenge, which so many of us do, and I do too a lot of times. That's awesome. At this point, I'm like, I'm a scaled guy.
Yeah, right.
Like, some things I can do, some things I can't do. I keep working at it, but I'm not going to freak out if I don't hit the 5 every day.
Right.
And I just know that I'm slowly getting better with it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So there have always been 5 components to the scoring system in Reset. We added a 6th this year, but I want to give them first, and then we're going to talk about them. And again, whether you're doing reset or not, this is partially going to answer some questions for those that are doing reset. This is partially going to be, hey, I'm not doing reset. I don't go to your gym, but what should I be focusing on if I want to improve my long-term health through a challenge such as this? First one is probably the biggest one, nutrition. We'll talk about that the most probably. Second one is hydration. Third one is exercise. Fourth one is alcohol. Fifth one is sleep. And this year we have something called extra credit. I'm going to save that for last to really kind of dive into what that actually is. So if you follow some sort of guideline, right, and we make this a pretty objective win or loss every single day, right? You got it done or you didn't. If you got it done, you get a point. If you don't get a point. There's no half points. There's no fractionals or anything like that. Okay, and I do think you guys have to keep this as black and white as possible. The nutrition, we don't want to force anyone into one or two nutrition programs, eating plans, diets. We have played around with that in the past. I don't like doing it. That it's just too restrictive, and we want people to develop a very healthy relationship with food, and get away from, I'm not allowed to have this, I can only have that. Like Sam said, moderation is key. We just have to be really aware that we're actually just slightly modifying things, or moderation. Moderation does not mean go on benders, right? That means we need to make a change there. So we say pick a nutrition goal for yourself. This can be following macros, eating paleo, avoiding sweets, keeping your processed sugar intake below a certain level or completely cutting it out, hitting a certain amount of protein. Pick something that challenges you but actually feels realistic. You get a point every day. You reach your goal. You get a 0 if you do not. Plain and simple. So this is where we have a lot of people that want to play around with macros. We have some people that just have a dessert problem. We have some people that have a sugar problem. We have a lot of people that don't eat enough protein. And my suggestion to someone that is doing this for the first time, you've never really tracked anything, would be try to find a macro that you're going to try to hit, okay? Instead of trying to find fat, protein, carbs, maybe most of you, probably because you work out hard, probably don't eat enough protein. And, your protein shake after you eat and one piece of chicken at the night, it's at the end of your day, it's not enough. So that's an example of what I think a lot of us could do on the starter side. Sam, there's a lot of new people here, and we are literally having people ask us what a macro is I'm sitting here watching my phone. What's a macro, right? What advice can you give someone that is so new to any sort of nutritional guidance in regard to reset / their New Year's resolution?
Oof, that's a big...
If I was a new member,
right,
and I said, Sam, can you give me some guidance? What can I do from the nutrition component of reset? I've never tracked anything. I don't know what macros are, but I need to clean my shit up. What can I do?
So we have people who are helping people here.
Yeah.
Like people who are really knowledgeable about nutrition.
Yeah.
And I think that was the best thing that you did, was offer an option where you have someone who can guide you through all of this. Because when we first started doing this, remember, you tried doing this intro to macro stuff. You were sat up there, you had this presentation, and we're all sitting there like, what? Like protein, carbohydrates, fats, what? Like, remember, and you try to give us general guidelines for everything. So you try to bring us all through it, which was really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I used apps as well. But if you don't know anything, the first thing you do is get your coach, get your nutrition coach. That would be the first thing. I'm not going to even try to be like, do this, that. But I will say this. I will talk about my experience when I started doing macros. Yep. If someone asked me, what was your experience like? And I will say it was one of the biggest eye-openers in terms of what I fuel my body with every day is. And if you've never tracked how much fat are you, how much of your food is fat, how much of it is carbohydrates, how much of it is protein. That's what macros is. Just knowing the breakdown of what it is that you're eating. And it blew me away how much 2,000 calories were, 2,500 calories were, 3,000 calories were, how much fat I was eating. Like, I just tracked it for a while, and I was like, holy crap, this is crazy. I did not understand what it was I was doing. I thought I was doing all right, and some things I was, some things I wasn't, and it's really onerous and difficult. Okay, tracking macros is probably one of the harder things. That's RX plus in a big way. But if you have a coach, if you get through it, if you try it for a month, 2 months, whatever it is, it will open your eyes to if you've never done anything like that, to what you are eating. And all of those things guide me every day. I don't track macros anymore, but I do know when I'm eating this, when I'm eating that. I know I have general thoughts in my head, just like when you work out. Like, you don't have to think about every single time you've done snatch work or box jumps, but you know what your capabilities are. You know what you probably might do in a workout. And it's sort of the same thing with eating every day. The more training you have with it, like, the better off you are.
Yeah. Macros, to someone that has never counted macros or don't know what a macro is the equivalent of someone that comes to CrossFit that has never done anything other than walk on a treadmill and go for a run. Like, you're going to come in here and your head is going to spin. There's going to be so much information thrown at you, different movements, different loads, RX, scaled, paces, rounds, intervals for time, for reps, AMRAP, EMOM. It's just, you're going to be like, wait, what is going on, right? That is how you will feel when you start macros. And this is why we preach reset as being something that's going to help you sustain long-term results. You're not going to get it your first week, just like you didn't know what a power snatch was in contrast to a squat snatch was when you started CrossFit. It takes time to understand that.
Wait, which one is the squat on the way down? I'm not sure.
And so I think that know that it's going to take you 1 or 2 weeks to even somewhat comprehend what is going on every single time. It is the most time consuming. I want to push some of you guys, if you're still on the fence with what you should do, is to start looking to a paleo way of eating. Not every meal. My challenge would be to you, pick 1 or 2 meals a day where it has to be paleo. That's how I started learning about nutrition as a CrossFitter, all right, without taking courses. I didn't have a coach, right? This is back in 2011. We did a paleo challenge. I won, by the way, all right? And it was before and after pictures. It was invasive, too.
Yeah, what'd you eat after you broke on the paleo challenge? I want to know that.
Chocolate-covered nuts. That was the last time. Funny story about this. It's really quick. This is when I was a broker, and we would bet on everything. And there was a bet at the desk, like hundreds of dollars were taking either side, that I wouldn't get below 190 pounds. And I was 205 at the start of my challenge, and I was like at 194, 193 going to the final day. And one of the other guys said, if you get below 190, I'll give you half the winnings. And it was like $400. And I was poor, so I was like, done, let's go. Living in Hoboken, needed some spending money. So I didn't eat for 2 days straight. I worked out 3 times in like sweatpants, sweatshirts. I bring in a scale to the gym. Everyone's hovering around. I was 189.8. withered away, and
not recommended.
No, don't recommend that. But rewind to what paleo did for me. I knew nothing. I realized at that point how little I knew about food and what processed food was. And I think the healthiest way to eat, if you want to keep it simple, like one word, is whole foods. Like, really stay away from food that comes in boxes, foods that have expiration dates on them, right? Like all these things that are expiration dates that are a year from now, like stuff that all these chemicals, if you read ingredients and you see a lot of words that you don't understand or can't pronounce, there's a good shot there's a lot of stuff in there that can mess with you. And that's one thing I would recommend. If you don't want to go down the macro train, you don't want to eat paleo all day, every day for 7 weeks straight, pick 2 meals a day that have to be paleo and do some investigation, do some looking into this on your own. I'm big on trying to teach yourself things and research because, again, when you have to do that work, you are more invested in it. I think you are going to get more out of it rather than, hey, Dave, can you send me some bullet points on paleo? Like, I will if you want me to, but if you do it, I think you're going to get more out of it. Others, I just talked to someone that was in here an hour ago. There's a really bad eating habit of eating sweets every day, and especially after dinner, and habits are tough to break. And I said, how about this? You don't want to do macros. We don't want to do paleo. It's a little too complicated. Don't want to count calories every day. I said, I want to pick something that's very realistic for you that you can shoot for. And he's going to try to not, every time he eats sweets, he doesn't get the point. So if you go 6 out of 7 days, now, I'm not telling you to go cold turkey. All right. You're not a bad person because you like sweets, but none of that candy. You get a point. And he's like, well, then I could eat a lot more at dinner. I'm like, you know what? Let's one step at a time. If you can cut that out, it's going to give you some momentum. And I'm going to talk about momentum a little bit later.
You got to start with what you can work with. I went strict paleo for one of these, like strict paleo for 8 weeks. By the time I finished, every Pizza Hut ad, every McDonald's, like I would look up at billboards and salivate over bread. And it was such an eye-opener to see like what it was that I craved so badly during paleo. But I will tell you right now, it's changed my life in the sense that I eat probably around 80 to 85% paleo.
That's awesome.
And then I might have, but I don't, like if we're out and I want to have pasta, I will eat pasta.
Yeah, right.
I don't care.
And that's awesome.
If I have an Uncrustable, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich once in a while, I'm totally fine with it. Even if but it's shifted where I think about food and my spectrum of thinking about food. So I'm not like sort of doing that every day. I'm kind of shifted that out. I dropped sweets. Not because like I was like, oh, I'm addicted to it, like some people are, Kristen Blake and her nerd clusters that she was telling me about yesterday. But and I understand that I went through that phase too. But listen, at some point you just start shifting how you think about these things, and whether you go hardcore, whether you go gradual, challenge yourself with it, and you might find over a year or two that you start like on your own making some choices based on your experiences.
Yeah. So to sum this up, guys, you're never going to out-train a bad diet as hard as you train. It's just you're not going to out-train that bad diet. And baby steps are the way to go. If you've been doing this a few years, I think at some point you should try to push yourself to another level. Maybe macros are for you. And we have Kelly Cavan from Kelly Cavan Nutrition, who has taken on an enormous task, much bigger than I think both of us thought it would be, to help out those that are in Reset Plus that want macro guidance, some of which don't know what a macro is. So some of them are really starting from a low level of understanding, and others are starting from, hey, I've done this 5 times. I want you to see your spin, or just give me some numbers to pursue. And I like seeing different people try different things, because you don't need to be perfect, but you're going to learn. And it's going to be something that could shape how you view food for the rest of your life, but you got to put the effort in. And I promise it's more important than what your workout is. You wish it wasn't that way because your workout takes an hour, but nutrition is 24/7, 365. And if you can't get a handle of it, you're going to have a lot of negative impact for the rest of your life, some of which could honestly end up killing you if you want to go to the extreme. Okay, so nutrition is the most important focal point of Reset. Next up is hydration. Also very important. This is a personal issue for me, that it's the easiest part of Reset, but it's also the easiest the easiest one for me to forget about. And we have changed this a little bit. We've made this a little less intense over the years. Our rule is drink over 50% of your body weight in ounces in water. This should be the absolute minimum, especially if you sweat a lot. Plain and simple. Sam, water.
This has been something that I tried a couple resets ago, and I found that for my life, I can't. It was really hard for me to reach this for 2 reasons. One is
it used to be 60%, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so to be able, like, for example, for me, I weigh about 170. So that would be
85?
85 ounces a day, which is basically, if you have one of those water bottles like Poland Springs or whatever, that's 16 ounces. So I'd need, what is that? 5
50
of those?
ounces.
Yeah, I'd need 5 water bottles a day minimum to hit that. And I tried that. I couldn't because of work. Like, I'm literally, there are periods where I can't pee for like 4 to 5 hours.
That's rough.
And so
Sam's a plastic surgeon.
So I couldn't, so then I'd have to chug literally like 60 ounces by the end of the day. And then, that just messes up your sleep and everything else. So I've sort of compromised for me. So I drink 16 ounces the minute I wake up every day without fail.
That's so smart.
And that is from this challenge. Like, I learned that from this. And then I'll drink another 32 to 40 during the day, depending on what my work schedule's like. Am I in the office? Am I working? Sometimes it sucks that it's like 4 o'clock and I chug like a 32 ounces, but I'll do that slowly over an hour. And that helps me tremendously. If I get about 50 to 60, more or less, I'm good.
Yeah.
So I'm probably never going to meet 85 a day.
Yeah.
But I'm all right with that.
Yep.
But I know I'm never going to hit below 40-ish every day. So if you've never have worked on hydration, this can be the best thing for your workouts. Have you ever worked out dehydrated? I know you have.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow. You just feel like a sledgehammer has like on your, like, weights on your legs.
Yep.
And if you are and this is one like sleep or nutrition, like you don't feel it every day, but if you do it every day, like if you have one good night of sleep, it doesn't really affect you. But if you have like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of good sleep, it's amazing.
Yep.
And it's the same with hydration. Just because you drink really well for a day or 3 days, don't expect it to change your life. But a week, 2 weeks, now it's like when you're not hydrating well, you can feel it. It makes a big difference.
So I just recently had a physical, and I got some extra blood work done because I have been feeling off for a while, and nothing came back serious. I'm good. I'm healthy. The doctor said very healthy, and I'm really happy about that. And always adds validation to what you're doing. But he said there's one thing that I'm a little concerned with, and it has to do with your kidneys. And, you know, based on this level and that level, and 2 other things that I look at when I see these numbers, he goes, this is what I would say could be a result of chronic dehydration. And I had like that, reset's coming, you know, that moment of, because I'm a big, like, I like to solve problems, or at least try to solve problems. And I'm a doer. I like to try to do it myself. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. And I've tried so many things over the past few months, like, all right, man, I feel like crap. Like, let's fix this. Let's get that. Let's get help from this person, help from that person. And I'm wondering that muscle strains, lethargic, feeling just like low on energy, lack of focus, was I partially dehydrated for a very long time? And it's showing up in my kidneys that it is. And it was like a couple of the numbers were like a little on the alarming side. And nothing's wrong. I'm fine everywhere else. But I know this. I don't drink enough water. And I make this excuse that I'm busy and I forget. It's such a lame excuse. And I know I will come in here at 4:30 a.m. sometimes, and I'll leave here at 11 o'clock. I'll go home, I'll sleep, I'll wake up, I'll eat, I'll come back to the gym. In that time, I've had 1 or 2 bottles of water, 24 to... And in addition, I sweat more than any human being I know.
Yeah.
when I work out.
Yeah.
So I probably need more than this. So I am looking at, I was probably drinking less than half of how much I should have been drinking for months. And that's not what an athlete does, you know? And I drink a lot of caffeine too, so I pee. I pee a lot. If anything, you know, for every energy drink or coffee that you have, they say you should have that much in just pure water. And, oh, well, Dave, I'm mixing water with my energy drink. No, it's got to be water, right? Well, what about my protein shake? It's got to be water, because I think it kind of just keeps you on that, like, accountability scale of making sure you get all that water in. You've even brought up to me, I think it was someone close to you, I think it might have been Susan or Sasha, that they felt they saw benefits in their skin.
Yes.
From hydration.
Oh, no, absolutely. Susan and Sasha both believe, and they really care about their skin.
Yep.
Same with Julie, Susan's sister.
Yep.
They hydrate. Like, Susan's been, even before, like, every day she goes over
the hydration,
this goal every day. She's been doing it since maybe 2 or 3 reset challenges behind that.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. So my last piece of advice on the hydration, whatever number you have to hit, try to hit more than half of that before noon. And I think what Sam said, drinking right away when you wake up, it helps out a lot. I've started doing that myself as well, and that's a big deal. So that's the hydration component to reset. Exercise. This is, based on who we're talking to right now, is probably the easiest point people get, because people love working out here, especially this time of year, and they think that's going to be the deal breaker. That's what's going to get them to lose weight, burn fat, is workout. and we just enjoy it. And here we get to see our friends when we work out. So you get a point for a workout. But I want to make sure, I want to be clear with this. I don't think most of you should not be Bison wadding every single day. And that's not what gets you the point. Okay? It can get you the point, but any form of intentional exercise. Okay? And again, this is a little loose. It's a little subjective. You got to kind of be honest with yourself. It's a lot of honor code stuff with Reset. Okay? This can be a stretching class, which Sam just got back from. That would count. It could be a walk for 30 minutes. It could be some yard work that you said, hey, I'm going to, try a little. Like I just shoveled snow before I came here this morning. And if I really wanted to, I'd try to put a little extra intensity into it. That could be a workout. I was smoked after, by the way. Felt very out of shape. It could be a at-home workout. It could be an EMOM, 10 burpees. Like I don't want time to be the issue here. Hey, I don't have time. You have 10 minutes to do 10 burpees on the minute. It's 100 burpees. It's a great freaking workout. If you have never done that, just go give it a shot. You could either do EMOM 10 burpees, or 100 burpees for time. You're done. All right. That could be your workout. This is who we are. And I think too many people, I think one of the reasons why we are the fattest country in the world is we don't view exercise as something that we get to do. And if you can actually make it something that you do every single day, whether it's 10 minutes or 2 hours, that is something that can reshape how you view health, fitness, and everything that we do. Sam?
The best CrossFit athletes that we have at our gym don't need CrossFit. They just know that they need exercise and they figure it out. I see these guys, they travel, they do stuff, they go all over the place, they're doing different things, and they find ways to exercise. And that is ultimately the goal of CrossFit, is not to make you do CrossFit classes. It's to learn how to exercise and stay fit, even if you don't have a barbell, even if you don't have a dumbbell, even if you don't have, that's why I love the challenge of traveling and going to a hotel. And I've been to places where I had to be like, I had nothing. I had a wooden floor, and I had to figure out, how am I going to try to stay fit? So this is great. Like, don't think about it as being at the gym. Think about this as exercise, and you'll do great.
Moving your body, plank holds. It doesn't need anything. It doesn't have to get your heart rate up.
Yep.
It can just be some weighted carries. I mean, there's so many things I think you guys don't think is good enough, but it is, especially if it's a day off, if you're banged up, if you're injured, if you're too busy, you're stressed out. I can't tell you how many times a simple 5 to 10 minute workout can completely shift your day and shift your mindset. Sleep. I hate this one. I always get crushed on this one every year. Sleep 7+ hours within a 24-hour period. For those that are doing Reset, this always comes up. This begins on the night of January 8th. So tomorrow night is when you have to actually try to get those 7 hours. So if you get 7 hours tonight, good for you. It doesn't count. Like you don't log your sleep until you're looking at it from a last night perspective. So I'm going to be logging my Monday, January 8th scores. I can't put my sleep score in until the next day.
Tuesday morning.
Yeah, Tuesday morning. So sleeping 7+ hours, is this realistic for people, Sam? I've looked at your scores before, and
I'm
usually do pretty bad on this.
This is the worst for me. I never get 7. I might get 6.
What time do you go to bed?
I try to go by 9:30 to 10.
And then what time do you wake up for the 6 a.m. class, which you most of the time come to?
5 a.m.
Okay, so you're not far.
No.
You're pretty close. If you're in bed by 9:30.
Yes, and I actually usually am, but my sleep efficiency sucks. So
what makes it suck?
Anxiety, insomnia, like
screen. Do you have your screen?
Yeah, I have really poor sleep hygiene prior to and I play with all sorts of stuff. I was just talking to you about how I've been trying CBD.
Yep.
That Beam drink that Dan Greenberg loves so much, which is good. It's good. Like it has some melatonin, some other stuff in it. The honest thing is that if I get 6+, like somewhere in that range, I am pretty good.
Yeah, you feel good enough.
Yeah, I feel good enough. For me to get 7, I'd have to sleep 8 or lie in bed for 8.
Right.
And that's probably not happening.
Yep.
I'll work on it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be more efficient.
Yep.
But I think this is probably the worst aspect for everyone, except for maybe nutrition. I think if everyone could in the world or in our gym could get 7+ every night, they would be supermen. Like we would see people crushing it at the gym every day. But again, this is like, it's just really hard. The one thing I think most people that I see at the gym is they work really hard. They're very engaged in what they do in life. And the easiest thing to short, and this is how I learned my life for so many years, listen, sleep is for the dead. I will just keep going right now. You know, I'll sleep later. And it took the longest time. And it also took me reading about professional athletes and how they have evolved their thinking about sleep for me to say, I can't short this. But that also means, honestly, not just working on sleep, but the rest of your life. How efficient am I with getting my crap done during the day? Am I kind of playing my game and not really getting the stuff I need to do? Am I, when I'm processing the podcast and I'm just sitting there and I'm like goofing off doing something else, like I need to get my crap done quickly so that I can go to bed at a reasonable hour.
So you can set yourself up.
And that's hard for people. So I would say this might require more rearrangement of your life. And I mean, kids, babies, congratulations to the new dads and moms out there. We have a bunch at our gym recently.
So cool.
Like, you're just effed for a while.
Yeah, I just want to put a 0, just drag that 0 down for the rest of the reset challenge.
But, like, ultimately, this is, and that, like, the way to make someone feel bad is keep them up for a couple nights. Their face looks like hell. Their body feels like hell. Their personality goes through a Jekyll and Hyde transformation. So this is the one that I will be so interested to sort of see how people sort of work on.
Yeah, I mean, by far the low point of parenthood, I mean, we've been parents for 3.5 years now, coming up on 4. By far the low points of our personal lives have centered around like the worst sleep patterns that we've had. Like when Brock was really bad, we had a bad year, like 12 months. And there was just no shot. Like I always track my sleep. Like I always know, like I wake up in the morning or when I go to bed at night, I know exactly how many hours I'm going to be getting.
And what is it lately?
On average, it's between 5 and 6.
Oof, that's so little.
2 days a week though. This is why I want to open this door to some of you guys. I have a weird life and schedule, so this is not applicable to everyone. But on the mornings I get less than 5 or less than 6, I really make it an effort to try and find an hour to 2 hour window where I can sleep during the day. I know some of you guys don't have that job, that kind of life. But again, it's reset in my head talking to me like, hey, and it talks to me throughout the year. If you can shift some things around in your life, like Sam just said, like I can do that, right? I can cancel this session and cancel that, not work out. Like I'm choosing sleep over some working out sessions now. And I've done that for a while. And this is where I think a lot of you guys need to have a come to Jesus moment with it. It is scientifically proven that your body is going to recover the most in sleep. It's not a protein shake. It's not a Theragun. It's not the Normatec boots. It is sleep. And the most common problem that people come to me with when they're down in the dumps about working out, I'm losing fitness. I'm not what I used to be, right? I just don't recover anymore. It takes me forever. Like I can go crush a wad, but I can't recover for 3 days. I can go do 120 wall balls and I crush, like high five, RX plus, good for you. I'm limping for 3 days. I'm walking sideways down my stairs. And there are a lot of variables to recovery, trust me. It's not just sleep, but sleep is the most important. And there is not a single elite athlete that I've ever met, read about. I would even say most of our best athletes that can sustain performance throughout the year, good sleep patterns.
People have asked me, and we've had some people close to us who've had issues with dementia and Alzheimer's and so forth. And people are always asking, like, how do I avoid this or that? You talked about, shortening your lifespan. Yeah. You want to minimize your risk of developing dementia, shortening your lifespan. Like, there's really good research about sleep, like really, 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 really good research. And if you chronically short yourself, like, okay, you have a bad week, you have a bad year.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Yep. But if you do that for years and years upon years, guess where you're going to be at age 60, 70, 80? Like, your body can't handle that.
And it's the same as nutrition, right? Like when you eat poorly for a long time, like, yeah, maybe you won't feel all these negative side effects right now or next year or 10 years from now, but you will at some point. It will catch up to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always want to tell, people that have kids, like if you want to be there for them for as long as possible, how you sleep right now, how you eat right now, how you drink right now, right? If you abuse it, you're going to be leaving them a lot sooner than you probably want to. And I think that's something that you guys need to think about when you're making these decisions. You touched on something earlier that hits home with me. I take pride in work ethic. I take pride in trying to get things done. I take pride in sacrificing the moment for long-term, blah, 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 right? Do you have advice, because you're a lot more seasoned with this than I am, for someone like some of my favorite time to work is early in the morning because no one's up, you don't get interrupted, and after everyone else goes to bed because you don't get interrupted. Do you have advice for someone that wants to pursue a career goal, a work goal, a side hustle, right? But they're also trying to play this health game. Like, how do you find that balance?
Organizational and productivity skills. Like I've studied the most successful people have figured out how to make the most of their time.
Yeah.
I waste insane amounts of time.
Right.
And the only way I was able to help get some of more stuff done is to work with my ebb and flow about organization. Like you said, I am the most productive creatively for about 2 to 3 hours in the morning.
Yeah.
I can get other stuff done.
Yeah.
Like, procedurally or physically, but like after I work out, after I'm done, washing up and everything, like I'm zoned in if I have to really think about something.
Absolutely.
And so if you look at all of these productivity gurus, these organizational guys, they will tell you to work with your schedule, map it out, figure out when you can be most productive. Because if you ask me to like be creative after like 7 o'clock at night, like my efficiency is like in the toilet.
Yeah.
So, these are the sort of things that if you want to fix your sleep, you actually have to look at your whole life,
right?
Your goals, your activities, like your efficiency, make priorities, like start making priorities, like which things do I like doing, but I really don't have time to do?
Right.
Which things don't I do that I really should be doing? Like they have all these organizational schemes and I've played around with all of them. Ultimately, it was like, get my ass going, do the things I have to do, get them done quickly, and don't perseverate. And then make sure that by a certain time of the day, like I got most of my major crap done, because if I try to push it off till later, my efficiency about working on something is just gonna go to pot.
Gone. Cool. All right. So the last point, this is new. Bison Reset number 6. We have added a 6th scoring category.
Oh wait, did you talk about alcohol?
No, I did not. Sorry, my bad. All right. Back. Oh, I skipped that before sleep. Okay, alcohol. Yes, you drinkers, we're coming after you. Put that drink down. So to get a point, no alcohol, plain and simple. Like one drink, no. But Dave, what if it's clear to kill? No. If it's alcohol, you don't get the point. All right. I'm not anti-alcohol. We are not anti-alcohol. We do think it is a habit that needs to be controlled. The impact it can have on your sleep especially is such a factor in your recovery and sustainability. Plain and simple, alcohol impacts everything. And there's actually, I've read some research lately that there's a benefit to certain kinds of alcohol, one drink or a certain amount, for the mental state. And we are in a very mental health era of humanity right now. It's like a catchy subject. And I always remember, I still don't agree with this, that during COVID, everything was locked down other than the alcohol stores. And I remember someone writing on social media back then that we don't even want to know what would happen if we didn't let people have alcohol. And still just don't get it. I don't understand that. That means it's a problem, in my opinion, right? And I think alcohol is great in social scenes. I think it's great at the end of a stressful day. But if it's something you need, or if you're trying to really focus on your health and making yourself the best version of you can be, there is going to be a negative impact that comes from that drinking habit. And this is a touchy subject. Like I actually always have to like hold myself back a little bit because people get very offended by this. Do you think alcohol should be included in a nutrition challenge or wellness challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is such an integral part of our society. You can, for example, every time people come over to our place or do whatever, they're like, we want to bring you a gift. What can we get you? And 99% of the time, it's a bottle of alcohol.
Yeah.
Like they don't know what else to bring over. They're like, wait, you don't drink?
Yeah.
Wait, what am I supposed? Here's a bottle of wine anyway. Like They'll still gift me alcohol because they almost don't believe that I don't drink anymore.
Everyone drinks.
Everybody drinks.
Yeah.
And so hit people where it counts. And let's face it, I don't know what research says one drink is good for your mental state. I will tell you this. Every research piece I've read, everyone that I've talked to that I respect out in the medical space, drinking is not good for you at any amount. Now, that being said, like when you listen to Huberman on his podcast, Peter Attia, like these guys do drink.
Yeah.
And they drink knowing it is not healthy for them, and they make very conscious choices about what they drink. So for example, that guy Peter Attia drinks like this super, like he's like, don't drink, but if you're gonna drink, make it worth it. And then he like has this super high end bourbon or whatever it is that he really likes, and that's fine. Like you're making a choice,
right?
But let's face it, alcohol is not good for you.
It's not healthy.
It's not. And I learned that the hard way because I've drunk, and every time I drunk, first of all, I do stupid things that are really stupid. And then number two, it makes me feel like crap for a really long time. And when I was younger, I could sort of withstand it. But now it tanks my HRV. I know that from my Whoop. And I feel terrible. And so for me, the benefits, and I know what the benefits are. You feel looser. You enjoy your, you're disinhibited. And I used to love that feeling. But at this point, I can't pay that price. And I'm not going to ask others to do so. Like, for example, my daughter, Sasha, is in college. And guess what? She drinks.
Yeah.
Like, I drank in college a lot. And so I'm not telling her not to drink. But I do talk to her about drinking responsibly, about, thinking about what health effects there are, because she cares about her health.
Absolutely, yeah.
She cares about working out. She cares about her fitness. She cares about a lot of things. So I think as opposed to the way we used to think about it, where, unmitigated drinking, uncontrolled drinking, heavy drinking, binge drinking was, that didn't seem to be so much of a problem. We're like, you know what? I'm really clean for the whole week. I let go on a Saturday night, but then I'm really good for the rest of the week. Like, we know those are not healthy.
Right.
So if you, like you said, if you are dependent on it, if you need it, if it is a crutch, well, you know what? Let's take that crutch away from you for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks, or you're taking it away from yourself. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And if you can do that, that's great. If you find yourself in here like 2 weeks in saying, man, if I don't have a beer, I'm going to die. Like, fine, have the beer, but then also look at yourself and say, what is it that's making me feel like I need this beer right now?
Yep.
What is it in my life that's causing me to say, if I don't have a beer right now, I'm going to like shoot myself?
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
Yeah.
And start analyzing that.
Yeah. I think putting hard rules on yourself, like what Sam's saying, whether you're going cold turkey or you give yourself one night a week or once during reset, it can really open up your eyes to some maybe potential deeper issues. But I also want you guys to understand the impact, the positive impact of not drinking and getting that point for reset, right? If you're doing the Bison Reset Challenge, there are so many spillovers. Like it would undoubtedly improves your sleep if you don't drink before you go to bed. And most of you guys, like, if we're not in the middle of the summer, you're not daytime drinking. You're doing it right before bed. And your liver is going to process that and break that alcohol down before it does anything else for your body recovery-wise. And even if you have like that short little like, ooh, I had drank that night and I feel good in the morning, your body, if it's a pattern, like you work your ass off at the gym and then you're drinking at night, right? Those people that still use the line, work hard, play hard, right? As if it's some sort of badge of honor. It it's going to wear you down to the point. Like, I think there's a lot of issues of athletes that I know that think it's okay. They eat well, they eat perfect, they work out really hard, but they drink a lot. And they're like, why am I feeling like crap?
Did you tell me your personal experience about not drinking for a while?
Yeah, so I stopped drinking over, it was in the middle, it's right after 4th of July. So the middle of July, no drinking through my Legends qualifiers. And just those 7 weeks, I felt so good. And there were other things I want to wrap up the conversation later on with this whole like momentum idea, but me not drinking set up a lot of other things to improve. Sleep was one of them. My nutrition was one of them. And you start getting all this momentum. You start getting addicted to this feeling. Well, wow, I feel a lot better for the long term. That sustaining success, right? That helped me qualify for Legends this year. I really do think that it helped me. And I like how long I'm benefiting from this much more than I like the 2-hour buzz that I get from alcohol and a few laughs with friends. Like, I always tell people, if you can't hang out with someone without being drunk with them or buzzed, they're not a good friend, or you're just not friends. I would even say that. It's not a friendship if you can't hang out without booze. It's just not. And so I'm coming up with all these things that I've heard from people, like, hey, I need the alcohol for this. I need for the alcohol for that. And I wanted to take it on myself to not drink. And I basically, for the entire fall, I had 2 drinks in October, and then I had 3 drinks at the Bison holiday party. That was it. So basically from mid-July through Legends, all right, I had a total of 5 drinks. And that was something that helped me out a lot. Because again, if you're going to tell people to do it, you should try to do it yourself and just explain some of the benefits that come from it. And it's just something I want some of you guys to put some thought into. I know a lot of you are like, dude, this is no problem for me. But I just, without judgment, by the way, all right, Sam and I are not here judging anyone that drinks. I have my own personal issues, have had my own personal issues with alcohol, things I'm not proud of. But it's going to help you. And if it's a huge challenge for you, if there's something like some alarm going off in your head, these 2 guys just talking, calling it a podcast, and telling you not to drink, you're a bad person, you're unhealthy, that's not what we're saying at all. I think this could actually probably give some of you guys the biggest margin of health improvement out of everything in here outside of nutrition.
And I'm not going to not drink in the future. I was telling Britt Arcee that if she ever gets those big drink luges, we had that for the holiday party, those big ice luges, like, I'll go to town on that just for nostalgia's sake, and just because it's so much fun to pour a shot down a big ice luge and then like have it run into your mouth. Like, just pick and choose what you got to do, you know?
Yep.
Like, it better be worth it. That's all I got to say. If I'm going to drink, it had better be worth it.
Huberman, I love it. Last one is, so in the 6th year of the Bison Reset Challenge, we have added something called extra credit. And one of them is mindfulness, 10 minutes of mindfulness training. We're actually going to have someone on next week to really dive into this, into the weeds, for those that want more information on it. If you're part of CrossFit Bison, you're going to get a 15-minute video that Rhee and I did together, explaining what it is. But if you don't want to go down the mindfulness training, that's okay. There's extra credit called a physical portion of it, where you have to do every day 20 burpees or 10 strict pull-ups, ring rows, banded pulse, whatever your capability is at. Nothing hard. It's not a workout. It cannot be it cannot be included in your workout at Bison or at your gym. It's got to be something separate that you're making yourself do every day. The purpose behind this, guys, all right, is not to make it more complicated. I want to help instill some discipline in people, and something that you have to do every day. I guarantee if you commit to doing this every day, there are going to be days you don't want to do it. You're going to come up with reasons why you shouldn't do it. And you get to pick on any one of these 3. I do encourage you to pick one and that be your challenge. Can I do this every single day? I'm going to try mindfulness. I've been a little intrigued by it, but I've never done it. I am skeptical. I'm going to admit that. I told Rhee that, and he knows I'm skeptical too, and he's like taking on it as a challenge to help me with it. But I want this to be something that you'd have to think like, yep, got to do it. And if you don't do it, you get the 0. If you do it, you get a point.
I think a lot of our athletes, and maybe you've also tried this, have done something like this. Like Deep Hero and CJ, 2 guys at our gym, were on a push-up challenge every day. So they were doing, I forget, a total X number of push-ups every day. Natalia, for a long time, another 5 a.m.er would come in and do a bunch of GHDs or strict pull-ups. Steve O'Day and I think Dan Greenberg and a couple others, they were doing burpee challenges where they had to finish X number of burpees by a certain month or year, like, I forget how many. And so this is not uncommon for CrossFit athletes who are looking to maybe build up a certain aspect of their training that they want to get stronger at. Strict pull-ups is a really, really, that's so good for so many other things that you do.
Yeah, countless.
Yeah, and for cardio or, burpees, all of these things are things that if you did it every day, ask yourself, would you be a better athlete? Would you, improve your capabilities? And the answer is obviously yes.
Yeah.
And so I think most of us have done sort of these challenges, or many of us maybe, or some of us even, have done some of these daily type challenges and found benefit from it. This is awesome. I find this to be one of the best extra credit options I've ever seen in a sort of health challenge. And the fact that you have a couple different options here, and it doesn't even have to be physical, like you said, it can be mental. And I'm kind of interested to see what 8 weeks of mindfulness training does for you, Dave.
Yep.
Are you going to be all zen and relaxed? Are you going to
start smoking pot?
Is that what mindfulness training is for you?
No,
somehow you become a pothead?
I'm just stereotyping.
Oh my God. You got a long one. Rafi's got a big challenge.
Big challenge for him.
Really big challenge.
No, I just know a lot of athletes that do it. And I think that I asked Rhee, I don't want to spoil his episode next week or the video that I'm going to be posting and sending out within the hour. It's not mental health. I brought up mental health, and he kind of shut that down a little bit. He goes, and that shows how little I know about it. It's what he liked, and this is something I want out of myself, out of my son, out of everyone that I'm around that I care about. He goes, this is simply my effort to, he thinks if you really do this and take it seriously, it's going to get you to your potential. He goes, I'm not going to tell you you're going to make the games or become the best athlete in the world. The mind stops a lot of us from reaching our potential. And there's a lot that goes into it. And I'm looking forward to learning more about it. And it's not a major time commitment. It's 10 minutes. I spend more time on that on my phone every day on Instagram. So I can easily cut some things out to make sure I did it in the morning, 2 days in a row. And, I don't have any sort of new feeling, but I liked that I did it. And it has gotten me to think about things that stress me out, that bother me, a different way already. Based on, he gives you a 10-minute audio. He guides you through it. So you're listening to his voice. Great voice, by the way. He's got a great microphone, too.
Yeah, we got to talk about Rhee next week because he is amazing.
Yep. So let's wrap this up, guys. That's the Bison Reset Challenge. Whether you come here or not, I hope those 6 elements to the challenge can make you think a different way about a New Year's resolution, or using 2024 as the year you're going to kind of pivot into a different direction, because it's possible. People are going to do it. I'm telling you this right now. We have 140 and counting, getting emails every 5 minutes here. Hey, can I get in? Can I get in? Right? That this is going to change some people's lives, and it can change your life too. I don't want to be overly dramatic. We're not going to see a new year, new you, right? But we are a product of our habits. We all are. And some good, some bad. And the things, the distance between where you are right now and where you want to be in anything, right? You're not as far away as you think, but you have to start putting some things into action, and you have to hold yourself accountable. We can help you hold accountable. This spreadsheet, this score sheet that's as simple as it gets, those numbers are going to hold you accountable, just like the numbers on your whiteboard. It is the truth. You can't hide from it. You got a 1, shitty day, all right? But guess what? You're pressing reset for tomorrow. You get a 6, awesome, good for you. Pressing reset tomorrow. You're back to 0. You need to start stringing some momentum together. The one piece of advice I'm going to give you is this. If this is overwhelming, okay, find the easiest one. the one that is easiest for you, and I want you to absolutely annihilate it. Own it. Like, be a savage over that one thing. The one thing I'm going to try to do to start off is the water. I'm going to be a savage about it. And then it's going to give me momentum. I know for a fact I'm going to get the water in every single day. Even if I get nothing else right, I'm getting that damn water every single day. It sounds just very juvenile and very easy. For me, it's just not. But I'm going to make it, and know what it's going to do for a week or two. I'm never going to miss it for a week or two. It's going to give me momentum. And now I'm going to start going after the next one. Take out the smallest piece first. Stop trying to shoot for the moon, all right? Because you're probably not going to get there because it's too hard. Get the little ones done first, all right? Move up to the medium ones. And now you're going to start to feel like a little bit like of a stud. Like, hey, yo, look at this momentum. I like how I feel. You're accomplishing something, right? And now with all that momentum, now you go after the big daddy, right? Don't feel like you had to get 6s every day, all right? Unless you're trying to beat Susan Rhee, because she will be getting a 6 every day, all right?
Unless I sabotage her like I did once by accident.
Yep. Ooh, all right. Let's do this.
No,
right?
no, it was by accident.
Throw some sugar into her food?
Yeah, I told her corn was paleo. And I was wrong. I will say this. My advice is this. We have a number of people every year who sign up. They go into it 2 weeks in. They're not doing well. Like, they don't like putting the 1s and 2s constantly up there.
Yep.
And then they just stop recording.
Yep.
Like, don't be that person who stops recording. Own it. Listen, I am never good anymore on Reset. Like I said, I know my limitations. I just log what I do. I'm not going to go crazy about it. If I, have my PB&J, I'll eat it. So, and I'm going to take that hit on it. So don't be that person who gets discouraged and stops logging their results 2 or 3 weeks in. Do it the whole way through, even if you're getting 1s and 2s the whole way. Just do it. Just like otherwise you're that person on that whiteboard who doesn't write their times down. You only write it down if you have a good score. Right. And then if you don't have a good score, you don't write your score up on the whiteboard. That's
right.
That's kind of lame. Like,
weak. Yeah.
I hated it back in the day when everyone would order and maybe you have that system at your gym where the top scores are ranked first and then it goes down. And so you only come in on the days where you're going to crush the workout and be at the top of the leaderboard. Don't be that. Be the person who owns, because at the end of the day, who's this supposed to be for? It's for you.
Yep.
Like, for you to be accountable for yourself. So if you stop logging your scores, you are no longer accountable to yourself. You're giving up on yourself. Nobody else will care.
Right.
Just you.
Yep.
So go ahead and do it for the entire period. Log your score every day. If it's a 1 or 0 or whatever, I don't care. So be it. Like, own it, do it, and see what comes out of it.
Remember, guys, this is simple. It is not easy. We don't do easy. See you next week.
Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your day to listen to the Herd Fit podcast. Be on the lookout for next week's episode.